Imagine waking up one day and finding out that the water beneath your town no longer truly belongs to the people living there. It belongs, in practice, to a corporation. That idea sounds dystopian, but for years, Nestle has been at the center of global controversy over exactly this issue: corporate control over water. Water is not just another product, it is survival. People can live without luxury, without technology, without comfort, but no one can live without water. That is why the debate around Nestle became so explosive. Critics argue that when a giant corporation extracts massive amounts of groundwater, bottles it, and sells it back for profit, something deeply unfair is happening. They say a basic human need is being turned into a business model. Nestle, on the other hand, has often defended itself by saying it operates legally, follows permits, creates jobs, and supplies consumers with packaged drinking water. From a business perspective, the company presents water bottling as a legitimate service. But the problem is that legality and morality are not always the same thing. In many places, local communities have accused Nestle of taking too much water from natural springs and underground aquifers, especially during times when residents themselves were facing shortages. This has led to protests, lawsuits, and public outrage. The image that made many people angry was simple: trucks leaving with bottled water, while local people worried about whether their taps would keep flowing. To understand why this topic matters so much, we have to ask a deeper question. Who should control water? Should it be governments, local communities, or private companies with enough money to secure extraction rights? When corporations step into that space, critics fear that profit begins to influence access to something that should never be treated like a luxury item. One of the biggest reasons Nestle became a symbol in this debate is because it represented a larger global pattern. Across the world, water scarcity is rising because of climate change, overuse, pollution, and population growth. As water becomes more precious, control over it becomes more powerful, and wherever something becomes scarce, business interests often move in. That is where public trust begins to break. Many people feel that companies should never have the ability to profit from local water sources in ways that may harm surrounding communities. Even if a company pays fees and follows regulations, people still ask whether those regulations are strong enough. After all, if a corporation can extract millions of liters for relatively low cost and then sell it at a huge markup, who is the system really benefiting? This controversy also exposed another uncomfortable truth. Not everyone has equal power in the fight for natural resources. A multinational company has lawyers, lobbyists, public relations teams, and financial influence. A small town has residents, activists, and limited resources. So even when local people push back, the struggle can feel unequal from the very beginning. There is also the ethical contradiction of bottled water itself. In many cases, companies market bottled water as pure, healthy, and premium. But if that water comes from shared natural sources, then what is really being sold is not just water, but control. Control over packaging, branding, pricing, and distribution of something nature once gave more freely. The Nestle debate became bigger than one company. It forced people around the world to think about whether essential resources should ever be placed in corporate hands. It raised serious concerns about privatization, environmental justice, and the future of human rights in a world where clean water is becoming harder to secure. At its core, this is not only a story about one corporation, it is a warning about what happens when life's most basic necessity becomes part of a profit-driven system. Because when water is treated like a commodity first and a human right second, the consequences are not just economic, they are moral, political, and deeply human. And that is why the issue continues to resonate. The question is no longer only what Nestle did or did not do. The real question is this: if corporations can control water today, what essential resource could be next tomorrow?